Okay, give me a replay, gang. If you're watching the replay, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. This another Wednesday. We call this Wednesday, skill day Wednesday or Wednesday skilled. I put it in the description. I'm gonna create a hashtag that goes with these Wednesday trainings. That way you can just search the hashtag and find all the skills trainings we do. As you know, we do mindset, we do heart set, but every Wednesday we focus on skills that'll help you pay the bills. You know what I mean? Uh, Skills that'll help you go further, faster, with less effort. And today we're talking about listening because it's amazing how much you can learn just by shutting up. I put a bunch of it in the description. People think you smarter when you shut up. People like you more. They'll even check in on you and make sure you all right. You know what I mean? And I just think that this is a smart thing. So what I got real quick, I want you to answer each one of these questions with a rarely, a sometimes, or a always. I want you to give me a rarely, a sometimes, or a always. Yeah. Skill set Wednesday. All right, here we go. First one. I allow speakers to complete sentences. Give me rarely, sometimes, or always. Number two, I make sure I understand the person's point of view before I respond. Give me a rarely, sometimes, or always. You can do RSA. Number three, I listen for the important points. Like what points are important to them? Number four, I try to understand the person's feelings. I try to understand the speaker's feelings, right? Number five, I visualize my response before I speak. Here's number six, I'm in control, relaxed, calm when I'm listening. Rarely, sometimes, or always. I use listening noises like, wow, okay. Number eight, I take notes when somebody else is speaking. Give yourself a rarely, sometimes, or always. I listen with an open mind. I listen even if the other person ain't all that interesting. Number 11, I listen even if the other person is a jerk. Number 12, I look at the person I'm listening to. Number 13, I am patient when I'm listening. Number 14, I ask questions to be sure I understand. Rarely, sometimes, or always, y'all. And then number 16, I have no distractions when I listen. I cut out all distractions when I listen. For entrepreneurs, this is golden. Give me a replay, gang. I want you to share this with your accountability partner. And when you watch that again, I want you to write all those down inside your power book. Or, if you've got your vision board coloring book, then this is a good place to be writing this stuff, right? You not only want to color in the pictures and whatnot, but use the notes to kind of like, next thing you know, you'll have a whole collection of power from your notes from the mornings. Amazing, right? So that's what you want to do with your vision board coloring book. Perfect holiday gift, by the way. But the point I'm making is that when you go through this thing, 14 through 16 always, because you want to rank how many always did you get. 14 through 16, you're excellent. You can just cut this off because you her, you him. You know what I mean? You're the best. 11 through 13, you're good, but you need help in certain areas. If you only got 7 to 10 always, you're fair. You're fair. You're right? You probably think you know it all, and you could increase your income significantly with skill building help. You got me. If you go from 4 to 6, if you only got 4 to 6 always, you're poor. You're what we call a poor listener. And what a clue there is in that phrase. They don't say bad listener, they say poor listener. We say poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly. Well, what is a poor listener? You're not even listening, so you're missing opportunities constantly. to increase your income, to increase your rapport, to increase the amount of friends you have. You get what I'm saying? To increase the depth and the strength of the relationship. You're a poor listener. Share this with somebody, y'all, because I'm about to give you some things that can help you change this. 1 to 3, you're deaf. You need a hearing aid. You get what I'm saying, do you? Effective listening requires more skill. It requires more intention. It requires more intensity. So here are some techniques you can use to improve before I get to the 10 skills that we're here to talk about. But don't forget, this is a Wednesday. You know what I mean? We're going to give you the skills that pay the bills every Wednesday. Here are 8 of them. Look right at the person you're listening to. Number 2, focus your attention on the words and their meaning. Write these down, y'all. Number 3, limit distractions. Limit your distractions. Sometimes you might even want to change locations if you're on the phone, or change positions if you're sitting there in person with the person. Kind of like maybe you get up, change your posture and all of that, right? A 4th one is visualize the situation that's being described to you. Visualize helps you empathize. When you visualize, it helps you empathize, right? Another one, listen with an open mind. This is really hard for winter personality types. You got to listen with no pre-prejudice. This is very hard for those of us that think we know everything. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. I'm talking to myself too here. The next one, listen to the content, not necessarily how it's being delivered. One of my homies that's been married over 10 years shared that one with me. I was like, that's a jewel. You know what I mean? That's a jewel. And then number 8 is use those occasional listening noises like man, okay. Wow, that's horrible. Oh my gosh. You know, or man, that's too bad. Or hey, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Try that sometimes. I didn't know that. Listen to me. Share this with an accountability partner who's going to hold you accountable. I like how you just did that, Allie. I like how you just did that. Smart. That's wisdom right there. Because remember, a person who seems to have all the answers usually ain't listening. A person who's always interrupting, which is my particular struggle, because I swear I know where the person's going. So I just go ahead there for them. You know what I mean? Like, spit it out, man. You know what I mean? Because I'm a winner personality, and we like when people just get to the point. Damn it. Not good listening skills. For some people, it is hard to listen. So here are a couple things you can use to kind of test your listening self-discipline. Here's one. Try being silent for an hour. Try being silent for an hour, right? A second way you can test and build your listening self-discipline. Try not talking in a group of people. You know how some of us, are kind of like maybe more the charismatic personality type. And, you're always like the life of the party. Try not talking next time you're in a group of people. Watch how that tests your self-discipline. Here's a third one. Try not talking at a party. Try not talking at a party or some networking. Well, not necessarily a networking event because you're there to talk. But even there, believe it or not, you're there to listen. You should be asking questions and then just listening, right? But here's the reason for the season. Here's why we tuned in today. I'm about to give you 10 listening building skills you can practice. Every Wednesday, we focus on skills. You know that if you tune in. You know that if you're millionaire minded. Every Wednesday, we focus on skills. Every Wednesday evening, we have Obsessed with Success. We have an incredible episode for you tonight. If you're not on our text message list, then make sure that you follow that thing right there. Text message @MillMind to 81010. You know what I mean? Text @MillMind to 81010. And that will help you get plugged in with the fam. With the fam. You want to plug in, you know what I mean, into the culture. All right, y'all. So these 10 listening building skills are brought to you by the Color Me Millionaire Vision Board and Affirmation Coloring Book. It's so much cool stuff in here, man, that you can use. It's like a lot of cool technology for you. Like, imagine having your babies coloring in images like that. You know, you was looking for a cool book, but then you got a note page. You see that? You got a note page that allows you to take the notes from the morning calls. Now this whole book becomes full of power because you're collecting all of these skills that we give you. All right, so here are 10 listening buildings, and you can get that from the website, wearemillionaireminded.com. All right, here we go. 10 skills that'll help you pay the bills this particular Wednesday. Here's the first one. Write things down as people are speaking. Jot down a word rather than interrupt the other person's thought. This is a jewel right here, because a lot of us that interrupt people all the time, and yes, I included myself in that category, we don't want to forget what we're about to say because we think it's very important. We don't realize that that person ain't listening to us a lot of times because we just interrupted them. So why are you writing this stuff down? One, you want to keep the thought you had. Two, you want to impress the other person because you consider them noteworthy. Listen to that word, noteworthy. That's a big deal, right? Listen, share this with another entrepreneur. Share this with another entrepreneur. This is how you do it. The third reason you want to jot stuff down is it's polite, right? And then the fourth thing is to keep listening instead of interrupting. All right, so that's the first one. That's the first skill. Jot stuff down instead of interrupting them. Here's the second one. Verify the situation sometimes before you give feedback. Verify the situation. Make sure you really understand what it is you're about to give feedback on. Does that make sense to you? This is where asking questions comes in, right? Questions are the great equalizer. Not only are they the transportation system for the human consciousness, but also you don't want to be replying to something that ain't the real issue. You want to make them feel heard by making sure first you're clear on what they even just said. And another thing, a lot of times you ain't. A lot of times you didn't get what they were saying at all. And you don't even realize it. And you're about to prove it by talking about something they wasn't even talking about. Here's a third skill. Qualify the situation with questions before you give feedback or before you respond, right? 4, don't interrupt the next time you think you know the answer. Don't interrupt the next time you think you know the answer. 5, go for an hour without speaking. These are listening building skills you can practice. Go for an hour without speaking. Put in an hour on your clock or whatever, and then try to go an hour without even talking. Number 6, next time you eat with a group, don't talk for the first hour. Next time you eat with a group, don't talk for the first hour. Just try that. Don't talk for the first 30 minutes. Just try that. Number 7, ask questions to clarify. It's one thing to ask questions to verify. It's another thing to ask questions to qualify. But what we're saying with number 7 is ask questions to clarify, right? Not just the words they said, right? Which would be more like, verify. We're saying what they meant by the words, right? Number 8, ask questions to show interest or concern. This is a listening building skill. Number 9, ask questions to get more information or to learn something. You got 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. Do the math, right? And then here's number 10. Ask yourself, right in the middle of the situation while they talk, ask yourself if you're listening the way you'd want to be listened to. Write this in your notes. We want to listen with the intent to understand before you listen with the intent to respond. Listen with the intent to understand before you listen with the intent to respond. This is one of my little Haziqisms. I don't know how many people be catching it when I say it, but I was proud of myself when I came up with this one. Like, God gave me this one. You know what I mean? Check this out. Leaders need to understand. Followers need to be understood. Does that make sense to you? Leaders need to understand. Followers need to be understood. Are you a leader or not? And then check this out. Leaders need to make it clear they understand. Because it's one thing for you to understand, it's another thing for them to know you understand. So now they're listening to your advice, they're listening to your feedback. I'm not going to listen to some, date you want me to go out on. Maybe you want to set me up on a blind date, right? Or I want to set you up on a blind date. You're not going to be all that apt to follow my lead if you don't even feel like I know you, that I know your likes, that I know your dislikes, that I know what turns you up, that I know what turns you off. Right? But if you understand that I understand, now you're more apt to listen to me. Does that make sense? All right, now. So all I'm saying to you, appreciate that, y'all. Yeah, Mimi. Yeah, good, Joseph. Good, Joseph. Okay, Sade. Let's get it. All right, so this is my toughest lesson to give. It's probably one of my toughest lessons to give because I am an interrupter. I'm a serial interrupter. If they had Interrupters Anonymous, then I'd be in there leading that meeting right there. You know what I mean? I am very often a poor listener myself, right? Almost every sale I ever lost, since I know I'm talking mostly to entrepreneurs and y'all need a little motivation, money, you know what I mean? The sale is our carrot as entrepreneurs. Let me dangle this carrot and tell you, every sale I ever lost was probably because I wasn't listening enough. I can attribute it to my poor listening skills. Second, this is a tough subject for me to teach because I can't change in 20 minutes what you've been doing for 20 years, right? So I challenge you to watch this over and over again. I challenge you to write it down. It's the holiday season. Order your coloring books now. Bunch of y'all got paid today. One time for the 15th, baby. But yeah, this is a cold coloring book right here. Here go one of my favorite images. Check this out, y'all. Tell me this ain't cold. Hold on. And then if you go to wearemillionaireminded.com, you see the real life version of a lot of these images. Ain't that something? Check that out. It's like we got to get ourselves right before we fix our legacy. Ain't that something? But then there's a note page right there where you can take the notes. Ain't that cool? It's called Color Me Millionaire, y'all. The world's first affirmation and visualization coloring book. And then it has all these note pages where you can write the notes from the morning calls. All right. Hope that was helpful. It's affirmation time. Let's get to it. Every Wednesday, we focus on skills. Set your clock, man. Set your clock so you're here with us. And if you try to call in on this line and it tells you it's trying to charge you, what you want to do is just text message, call me to the same number, and then it'll call you back. Repeat after me, say it like you mean it. I am so happy and grateful that money comes to me easily and frequently.